we pour all of this time and energy into like helping them prepare for every possible thing, which is good. Yeah. That's what we do because we're mothers. But then when's the last time you prepped yourself for your future? When's the last time you prepped yourself and invested in yourself for a hobby that you love? Welcome to the I Am Mother of the Year podcast, where we equip and encourage moms just like you to move from isolation, fear, comparison, and chaos to community, compassion, peace, and freedom. We're so glad you're here. Hey, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Jen, and this is the I Am Mother of the Year podcast.
And have you ever thought about how to raise a mother?
How do you raise a mother?
Let's clarify, not just any mother.
Or my mother.
I'm not talking about your mom or your mom. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about raising yourself as a mother.
Oh boy, this sounds like it's gonna be tough work.
It's gonna be tough work, and let me tell you how this all came. There's always a story. And this story started with me telling a dad of boys, so boy dad, 3 boys, and I was saying, I caught my daughter Josie in the most sweet, vulnerable moment. Like, she did this like cool dance step move, and like she didn't want me to see, but she kind of wanted me to see. And it was this whole like, can I be brave and vulnerable, even if I don't know what I'm doing, even if it's just in front of my mom? But she let me in to this window, and I was like, and I was able to like meet her right there and just speak the life and truth. And we had this glorious moment.
And over dance, hello.
Of
you
course.
both share this passion.
I taught her how to shake what her mama gave her. Okay. But it was so beautiful.
Yeah, vulnerable.
Yes, but then the next time she did that move, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I can enter in again. She was like, don't look at me, Mom! And like ran to the couch and buried herself in the pillows. And I was like,
oh, I thought we did this thing.
But
and this was our moment.
But you.
Not anymore? We're done with that?
So I was sharing this with boy dad, and he was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what it would be like to raise a daughter. And I was like, try raising yourself as a mother.
And you're like,
and I was like,
no, wait.
That was good. And that's true.
Yeah.
Raising myself as a mother is like the hardest thing I've ever done.
How do you even do it? Like, where do you even start?
Well, I think that's where we get stuck, right? I think, and this might be an overgeneralization. This might not apply directly to you, but there's part of it in here that's for you. So stick with me on this. When we have kids, I think that many of us stop taking a look inward and growing up as adults because now we're raising kids who will become adults. So okay, I've had these hopes and dreams and someday wishes and all of the things that, but now I've got kids and now I'm gonna project that onto them and I'm gonna let them fulfill their hopes and dreams and wishes, and I'm gonna let them invest, and I'm gonna invest my time and my talent and my everything into their hobbies, into their future, into like...
Yeah, they can become your everything.
They can become, and then we stop becoming. We have to keep becoming.
Yeah.
Otherwise, our kids won't know how to become.
Because guess who they're watching? You.
You. Which is like, there's so much pressure in that, or could be. Yeah. But I want to free you already from letting the 1,000-pound gorilla, whatever, just like sit on your chest. Like, it's not about striving for perfection. It's just about embracing the process of looking inward. Just take one little look and just see what there is to grow. Like, so let's talk in real, let's get down to brass tacks here. Like, so we prep our kids for everything.
Yes.
Right? They've got a new sport. We get them all the gear. we let them watch the YouTube videos, and we teach them in the backyard, and we practice. We do all the things for the kids, and then we tell them, oh, and when you get out to the mound to throw that first pitch, you're going to have the fans, they're going to be watching you. We prep them for every possible scenario that could ever possibly happen so that we could try to set them up for success.
My big thing is expectations with my son. It's here's what you could expect. This might happen. This might happen.
Right. And if it does, then this. And if that does, then that. And it's we pour all of this time and energy into helping them prepare for every possible thing, which is good. Yeah. That's what we do because we're mothers. Mm-hmm. But then when's the last time you prepped yourself for your future? When's the last time you prepped yourself and invested in yourself for a hobby that you love?
At that length, too.
Right. Or even
championing yourself. I'm going to be your advocate here. It's no, I give to everyone else, and I've got an early morning tomorrow. I guess I should go to sleep now. That's the very least I could do for myself.
Right. So instead of choosing Netflix and going to sleep, you would have to choose something else. Yeah. So it's just about choosing yourself.
Yes. So because of the sleep thing, I feel that transitions easily to I tell Jonah, I'm going to limit your screen time.
Yes.
And you need to go to bed at a decent hour. He's a structure guy, so it's you do better, you do best when you go to bed on time. 8:00 every night. Let's do it. You find strength and success and comfort in the structure. Let's do that. Let me champion for you. Give you this routine. Mm-hmm. Do I have a routine that I follow every single night? No. Do I go to bed at a decent hour? Is the night owl over here? No. In the past 4 nights, okay. I've gone to sleep at. It's just real conversation, okay? Mm-hmm. In case you're here with me. 4 a.m. What? 2:30 a.m. 11:30 p.m. And last night was 2 a.m. Or this morning, I should say.
No.
And then woke up at 6:47. So that's not enough sleep. Would I allow that for my child?
No.
I want them to have the most sleep possible to set them up for success.
Yes.
Am I practicing what I preach? No, that's the problem.
It's limiting the screen time. Yes. You want to pull out the screen time reports?
Oh my gosh. Are we really?
I don't know.
Oh boy.
I guess. Let's just look. Let's just look for last week, my screen time.
As she does this, I'll just admit, I'm on my computer so much, my eyes are bloodshot.
There you go.
I'm not even kidding you. And looking down at the phone so much, I go to a chiropractor because my neck is injured from looking down.
At least you do that. At least you do that because you could just not.
But there's wear and tear on my body because of so much screen time. And now with Jonah, I'm short account, 30 minutes. Oh, it's been an hour. You're done.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the numbers. This just in.
Last week's screen time average. 4 hours and 44 minutes. Me and this cellular device.
A day?
That's my average per day. Do you know what the total screen time was? And that's including everything. That's taking pictures. That's Marco Polo. That's Messenger. That's all the things. Text messaging. Everything. 33 hours and 10 minutes last week on this. Mm-hmm. On this phone. Now, granted, I run and trying to build an online business. Mm-hmm. I write for online spaces. We release podcasts online. Okay, so there's some justification there, but really?
I know, mine's same. It's 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm a day? Wait, a day? How do I have that much time in the day? Right. When every minute I'm hurry up.
Right. Oh, no. We don't have time because we're mothers. Mm-hmm. We don't have time to invest in a hobby. Mm-mm. No, I don't have time to look inward, start thinking deeply about, I wonder what I do actually want for my future because Lord willing, our kids will leave the house. And then guess who you're stuck with? You.
Yes.
You're stuck with yourself inside your brain. And if you don't like you, that's not going to get better. That's going to get worse. Right. And if you don't know yourself, that's not going to get better. That's going to get worse.
If you pour all of your energy into raising your kids and stop raising yourself, meaning improving, learning, growing, developing, growing, then you're not raising yourself as a mother. And we owe it to them because they're watching us. The better we become, the better we are for our spouses, the better friend, the better everything we become.
Yes. And so here's another practical way that this looks. And we kind of touched on it before. Like, am I expecting something from my kid that I'm not expecting from myself? So yeah, that's the screen time and all the monitoring, setting up for success. But like, I'm talking internally.
And can you say it again?
Am I expecting something from my kid, from my daughter who's 6? Am I expecting something from her that I'm not expecting from myself? For example, I expect her to be in control of her emotions all the time. I expect her to be really aware socially of how her impact and her behavior and everything she says and does and like impacts everyone else around her.
Yeah.
Like, I expect those things from her.
Keep it tight, locked up, and know when. And
exactly. Be smart. You're 6.
Moderate your levels. Don't let that bother you. Don't show it on the outside.
Right. Okay, well, look at me. You might not have known me for very long. You might have only seen my face on this podcast. But guess what? You know that I don't keep my emotions locked and loaded. Are you kidding me? The only reason I'm not more expressive right now is because I got Botox on my freaking forehead. And I can't show you all the emotion that I want to. Okay? I can't expect my daughter to be locked and loaded. And I don't want her to be really. But like, I don't expect that in myself. I expect it out of her though. Because as she learns about her emotions, she needs to learn to control them. And then someday I'm gonna let her like loose them to the world? What? Doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
But we expect things from our kids that we don't do ourselves.
Yeah. What I love about this is the whole idea of leading by example because they're watching.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I'm not expecting that of myself, what if I started to expect that of myself? What if I showed you the best way possible to teach you? Like, we talked about, how do you raise a daughter who knows her own worth? You know yours. Because she's watching you. Every little move you make, every little thing you say, which is scary.
Yeah.
But it's also encouraging. There's hope and there's control in that you can control. Like, how do you raise a son who knows how to lean into his strengths? You lean into yours, right?
Yes, because it's the whole like more is caught than taught, and that's true. But man, if we're not intentional about that, our kids are going to catch maybe apathy. They're going to catch a lack of imagination from us. And you can almost watch kids as they grow up a little bit, like let go of their imagination. That is part of the growing up. But I think some of the most beautiful parts of our future are found first in our imaginations. And so, man, if we can get inside and start thinking through, man, in 5 years, what do I want for myself? Have you, when is the last time you asked yourself that? It's okay to ask yourself that. And I think if you give yourself that permission just to ask the question, then you might actually start giving yourself permission to take steps towards that future.
Yes, you're on a roll. Boom.
It's a wrap. Let's go. I'm sprinting into my 5-year plan. Right? But this is this is like, I'm not even talking in complete sentences because I get so fired up and I'm so sweaty right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's because I'm so passionate about this that it makes my blood boil. Like, I'm having a physical reaction right now, trying to remain calm and clearly communicate the importance and the value of this to you. Because our joy, our freedom, our legacy that we will continue talking about, because we're changing mom culture one mom at a time, and that starts with us, and that starts inside. It starts with you, and it starts inside of you. And that is how not only we will change this mom culture, we will raise up a mom culture of our children who know how to be better moms because they know how to look inward. Like, they know how to become the women and men that they were created to be. That is what we're telling you. That's what we're inviting you into. Yeah. And that is what we are trying to do ourselves. And we are not sitting on the couch of perfection. Let me tell you that all the way.
I'm sitting on a pillow.
There's the truth.
I'm shedding all over. Long blonde hairs everywhere. You think that's perfect?
Yes. And so I wrote about this several months ago, and I had a mom who commented, ooh, as a strivey mom, that sounds almost impossible. Like you want to strive for this perfection and you're all like, it's not about that. It's about becoming. It's about resting in who you are. It's actually, okay, let's give you freedom here. It's more about rest than it is about work. It's more about rest than it is about work. And let me tell you why. Because as you rest in who you are, and we talk about it a lot, you get to know yourself, you get to know God, you get to know what's true about you, you get to know what's true about him. It's internal work, but it's restful work. And the more you're able to rest, the more you are able to actually become. And it's a slow process that you might not be able to see until you take the time to look back and go, oh my gosh. And I'll give you an example of, and we're like, I don't ever want to talk about quarantine ever again, right? The great quarantine of 2020 put me out of my misery. Like, forget it. And I was like, I am committed to not thriving in this season.
I will not thrive.
Everyone is like, the best American novel, and Picasso did this in this quarantine of the flu of the what? I'm like, what?
Or you could survive.
Right. I just want to know. I have 2 kids. I'm working 3 jobs from home, and my husband's working from home. Well, then come to find out, we all get laid off and all that. Now we've got all the time, and our kids go back to school, and now what? But it was this giving myself permission to go, I'm just going to take this season for what it is, and I'm not going to put extra pressure on myself to be or do anything that I can't do. Like, that's not realistic to me or true to myself. I'm going to give myself permission to just be. And now I look back on that season and I have become almost unrecognizable to myself.
Transformed is the word.
And it's not because I was striving for it. It's because I was resting in it and I was trusting my Heavenly Father enough to go, I'm doing all this work in and around you that you don't have to see, know, or understand right now. But when you look back, you will see, you will know that I was with you, I'm taking care of you, and I'm helping you become who I created you to be, because there's work for you to do out there. And I'm saying that to you, and I'm going to say that to you. Like, there's work for you to do out there. There's work for you to do in here. But God is working all of this out with you on your behalf. All you have to do is take one step inward and then take one step forward.
Yeah. I love it. And it's such a balance. I love that reminder of rest, because that speaks volumes to me. Yeah. I don't want to rest. I don't have time to rest. Right. Like, that's my initial thought.
Well, and you don't want another thing on your to-do list as taskmaster. You're like, hold on. I'm just going to put 9 to 10 p.m. Become who I was created to be.
And what's funny is, because of my list, I actually want to add things that I can actually see and do, tangible things to work on. So it's really a good challenge to all of us to rest. But I love that it's not like, okay, I'm just going to lay in bed and now wait for God to do the work. It's like, no, you have to take a step inward and forward, and he's going to be with you. I love that. That's the balance. I would say, to talk on the work side a little tiny bit. I was just thinking about this leading by example thing. Like, that's okay to step inward. I'm like, what does that look like for me? And I'm like, for me, I don't know if this is right, but the first thing on my list is lead by example. Like, make that more in the forefront of your brain. Just a little example might be, we tell Jonah, don't say stupid. We're not going to say stupid in this house. I don't want to hear you playing with that word, like telling other kids that. It's just that's a not word that we're not going to use. Someone was talking in the house the other day about, I know, it's so stupid, adults. And he's like, ding, like, I thought, is that it? And he's like, inquisitive. He's learning about the world. And I'm raising him as a child to then be an adult. Who knows when it's appropriate to say stupid? Oh my gosh, these are the real stories of our lives. And he's like, is that a bad word? And I was like, this is the conversation. And so I explain about all the things. Okay. And so I'm raising him, I'm teaching him, but I'm like, interesting. Because there's some hypocrisy that could be looming out there. Like, well, so you can say it, but I can't say it. Right. Adults can say it, so it's not a bad word. It's a good word if you use it this way, but it's a bad word for me and for kids. Like, wait a minute. And we don't want to confuse our kids. We want to teach them and provide clarity and help them along the way. But I'm like, man, if I could Lead by example. If I can make sure that I can't control other people, but that I try not to say the word stupid.
Right.
And then that's on the surface, but if I know my worth and who God created me to be, and I'm living that out and leaning into strengths and all of those inward things that are on a deeper level, if I'm living that out, He's going to catch that just like the word stupid that's muttered here and there.
Absolutely.
And He's going to start learning by example.
Exactly.
That's one of the first places we think we can start.
Yes.
And then we've got 3 more.
Of course we do, because we like to give you action steps.
Yes.
And doable, practical action steps.
Yeah.
This is one step at a time until we die.
It's rest, it's work, it's both. I hope you caught that. It was so important what you said.
We swing from work to rest, but...
And God's with you in that swing every step of the way.
In the swing. Oh, that sounds fun. But first, here's your first action step, is leaning into what's true about you. We are going to beat this drum all the time. Every podcast probably is what's true about you. It's important to know that. And until you know that, you don't know who you're supposed to become. You don't know where you're going. You need to learn what's true about you. And then second, figure out how God put you together. He wired you specifically for a purpose. And there's work for you to be done. And there are so many resources. We have some great resources that we will be introducing you to as time goes on. Some courses we can take you through.
I would just like to sub my word for great is like life-changing. It's just life-changing stuff that we have for you.
Just stand by.
It's out there.
Yes. And so get to know how God put you together. If it doesn't feel right, if you're going to hate something, that's not what God wants for you, right? Like this is
my weakness. Oh no, I'm terrible at this. Then you probably shouldn't
lean into your strengths.
Yes.
And then be bold in the way you live. Show up. Do the work. Show up. And you know what the bravest thing you'll do today is? The bravest thing you could do today, is to take 5 minutes when you're done listening to this podcast episode and look inside. 5 minutes to look inside. That will take more courage than you think you might have. And you're like, well, I can look inside. It's scary in there. When's the last time you looked inside to take inventory of what is in your heart and your mind?
Oh, the silence can be deafening.
Take a look.
Yeah.
Take a look inside. So that's what you're going to do right now. You're going to take 5 minutes to summon all of your courage, and you're going to look inside, and you're just going to get curious. Just get curious. Just take inventory. Just see. It's not a judgment thing. It's just, let's lay the facts out about what my thoughts are saying. Let's lay the facts out about what my heart is saying and how I feel.
What's maybe one step I could take?
Right. There's one thing. In 5 minutes, no doubt you'll have one teeny tiny step.
And we're going to tee you up to do that right now by telling you, just in case no one else tells you today, you're a really good mom.
Thanks for listening to the I Am Mother of the Year podcast with Lisa and Jen. If you love what you hear and want insider access to more conversations just like these, exclusive Mother of the Year merch, and access to the I Am Mother of the Year podcast one day early, join the growing community of patrons who support our movement at patreon.com/I Am Mother of the Year. Talk to you next week.